I was halfway through a dwarven ale, the kind that tastes like it's been brewed in molten rock, when the tavern door creaked open. At first, I thought it was just another unlucky traveler. A halfling, no taller than a child. But his face was something else. Wild, almost unhinged, with eyes that never seemed to agree on where to look. He wore clothes that might have once belonged to a nobleman, fine fabrics, intricate patterns, but now they were tattered, patched, and reeked of neglect. And speaking about reeks, let's just say he brought an atmosphere with him, one that made the ogre in the corner seem fragrant by comparison. And then he smiled. It was disarming, almost charming in a lock your coin purse kind of way. "Good evening," he said. "Please allow me to introduce myself. Gazoo the Great, at your service." Gazoo the Great, huh? He didn't look great, and certainly he didn't smell great. But something about him told me I was about to have a story worth telling. Alton Tealeaf, or as he insists on calling himself, Gazoo the Great, is a Lightfoot halfling with a past as mysterious as the dark forces that haunt him. You see, Gazoo doesn't remember his real name or much else about who he used to be. Those memories, along with fragments of his very soul, were stolen by a being of unimaginable malevolence, Ghaunadaur, the Elder Eye. Without his knowledge or consent, Alton was bound to Ghaunadaur through a twisted pact. Now, he serves this great old one as a warlock, wielding eldritch power that he neither asked for nor entirely understands. Though he despises the being that controls his fate, Alton's survival depends on the very magic that binds him to it. As he searches for answers and perhaps a way to break free, Gazoo the Great walks the thin line between prisoner and servant. He may not remember where he came from, but Alton's journey has just begun. Before he became Gazoo the Great, Alton Tealeaf was a master jeweler in the bustling city of Waterdeep. Without a family to distract him, Alton poured his heart and soul into his craft, rising to prominence as one of the finest artisans in the city. His work was sought after by the city's elite, the nobles who value his precision and artistry. For Alton, wealth and status weren't just goals, they were his measure of success. One fateful evening, a group of adventurers came to his workshop. They offered him a piece of onyx nearly flawless and almost perfectly spherical. The price they asked for it was suspiciously low, far less than the gem's worth. Despite his doubts, Alton's greed won out. He bought the gem, convincing himself that it was a stroke of luck rather than a trap. That night, as he began to work on the onyx, his life took a horrifying turn. The voice came without a warning, reverberating through his mind like a scream from beyond the stars. It called itself Ghaunadaur, the Elder Eye, a being of unimaginable terror. Drawn by a strange compulsion, Alton placed the onyx into the pommel of an old, rusted scimitar he had lying in his workshop. As the gem locked into place, the pact was sealed. Tendrils of shadow spiral out of the scimitar as Alton collapsed into the ground, trembling. Ghaunadaur claimed as his servant, shattering its will and tearing his mind apart. Though Alton resisted with all his strength, the great old one was relentless. Now, Alton's memories are fractured. Even his own name has been stolen, locked away as part of the pact. Should anyone remind him of his true identity, it slips from his mind within seconds, forever beyond his reach. Though his mind is broken, Alton clings to the hope that one day a powerful being will take pity on him and sever the chains of his servitude. Until then, he roams the world, doing good where he can in a desperate bid to atone for his greed and reclaim his stolen soul. Okay, so what do we know about Alton? Well, he used to be a jewel crafter. He is a Lightfoot halfling, and he now it seems to be a warlock of an ancient horror. I think we have enough. Let's go. Before we start, I would like to add the following disclaimer. I built Alton Tealeaf several years ago, and when I tried to convert it into the 2024 rules, it didn't translate well. So for Alton Tealeaf, we are going to make an exception, and we are going to use the 2014 rules. But after this character, we're going to create every new character using the 2024 rules. The first thing that I'm going to do is go to dndbeyond.com. I'm going to click on Collections, My Characters. It's going to take me to this page. Now I will click on the Create a Character button. Let's choose the standard option and click on Start Building. Now let's enter the character name here. In order to add the portrait, I'm going to click on the plus button. I'm going to click in Select File. Then I navigate through where I have the file with the portrait. I'm going to click on Set Portrait and Apply. And since we are going to use the 2014 rules, I'm going to make sure that this option is selected. Now let's click on the next button. Now I'm going to add the class. I'm going to scroll down all the way to 2014 core rules, and I'm going to select Warlock and add class. I'm going to select the skill proficiencies, and usually the Warlocks go for charisma based skills like intimidation and deception. Due to the character's backstory, I would like to think that Alton received a lot of arcane and ancient Eldritch knowledge from his patron. So I'm going to select Arcana and History. For the other worldly patron, I do understand that there is a compelling argument to select Hexblade because of the scimitar. However, I'm going to select Great Old One for Ghaunadaur. The Awakened Mind ability is extremely useful. It will let you tell your team members your intentions without the NPCs around knowing it, without the need to metagame. It's time now to select our spells, and we have the option to select 2 cantrips and 2 first level spells. For the cantrips, I'm going to go first with Eldritch Blast because it's the best damage cantrip, and Mage Hand because it's an excellent utility cantrip. For the first level spells, I'm going to select Hex because we only have 1 spell slot, so we need a spell that lasts more than 1 round. And for our second first level spell, I'm going to select Charm Person because it's also a great utility spell. Let's click now on the next button to go to the background. Now this is a very simple choice. We're going to click on the drop down menu button. We're going to go all the way down to the 2014 core rules, and we're going to select Guild Artisan / Guild Merchant. This will give us access to select proficiency in 1 specific set of tools and 1 language. For the tools, of course, we're going to choose the Jeweler's tools, and for language, we are going to choose an exotic language. You see, after his encounter with Ghaunadaur, now Alton Tealeaf is able to speak with monsters like aberrations, oozes, and jellies. So we are going to select Deep Speech. I'll skip for now the character details, physical and personal characteristics, but don't worry, I'll fill them on later and have it ready for you in the character sheet. Let's click once again in the next button, and we're going to choose now our character species. I'm going to go all the way down to the 2014 core rules, and I'm going to select first Halfling and then Lightfoot Halfling. That will give us an ability score increase of a +2 to dexterity and +1 to charisma. Plus, we will get the lucky, brave, halfling nimbleness, and natural stealthy abilities. Once again, I'll click on the next button to go to the abilities, and I'm going to select the point buy for the generation method. If you want, you can roll for your abilities, but with my luck, I won't risk it. I'm going to choose an 8 for strength, which will leave me with a -1 modifier, but that's okay, we will compensate somewhere else. In or dexterity, I'm going to choose a 14, plus or 2 racial bonus will give me a total of 16, and that will leave me with a +3 modifier. I am also going to assign a 14 to Constitution, because that is going to give us a +2 modifier, which is going to be very helpful to keep concentration on our spells. For Intelligence and Wisdom, I'm going to assign a 10, just to have a 0 modifier. And the rest of the points are going to go all to Charisma, which will allow me to assign a 15, and with a +1 from a racial bonus, it will get us to 16 for a +3 modifier to Charisma. We are almost done. Now let's click on Next to choose the equipment. Okay, we are going to click on the equipment to select the class starting package. Between the light crossbow and 20 bolts or the simple weapon, we are going to select the simple weapon, and then we are going to choose a sickle. We will reflavor this sickle to an old rusted scimitar, and once we get to 3rd level, we are going to switch it to an actual scimitar as our pact weapon. Between a component pouch or an arcane focus, let's remember that the onyx stone is the source of Alton's power, so let's choose an arcane focus, and we're going to select the option of an orb. Now I will select Dungeoneer's pack, and I will get my option for a leather armor and any simple weapons and 2 daggers. I'll select the quarterstaff. Feel free to select whatever option you want. Now a set of artisan tools, one of your choice, of course, jeweler tools. A set of traveler clothes and a pouch with 15 gold pieces. That's all that is left from Alton's fortune. And finally, click on the Add Starting Equipment button. Make sure that you click on the wield button for your armor and weapons, and click one last time the Next button. From here, I will click the Export to PDF button, and I will have a link to download the file in the description of the video. Every character has a story behind their creation, and Alton Gazoo the Great is no exception. He draws inspiration from 3 different fictional characters, each one of them bringing unique elements to his tragic and complex personality.
Hey, questions! You there!
Old Man McGucket, local kook, are the wax figures alive? And follow-up question, can I survive the Waxman uprising?
The first inspiration comes from Old Man McGucket of Gravity Falls. Like McGucket, Alton was once a brilliant craftsman, renowned for his work and respected in his field. However, his encounter with a malevolent otherworldly being shattered his mind, leaving him but a shadow of his former self. This combination of brilliance and madness served as a basic foundation for Alton's character.
Don't stay here. Get away from these men. Please. And I pray to God I may never see your sweet face again.
The second inspiration is Rainfield from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Rainfield's tragic servitude to a cruel master mirrors Alton's forced loyalty to Ghaunadaur. Despite being compelled to act against his will, Rainfield's underlying humanity shines through, an element that echoes in Alton's desperate attempt to do good and free himself from his pact. Lastly, Alton's unsettling ability to understand and speak an alien tongue without him realizing it was inspired by Harry Potter and his encounter with the Parcel Tongue ability. This eerie connection to the language of his patron reflects the deep and unescapable bond between Alton and Ghaunadaur, a constant reminder of the pact that haunts him. From the shattered genius of Megaket to the tragic servitude of Rainfield and the unsettling linguistic abilities of Harry Potter, Alton Tealeaf is a character forged from elements of brilliance, tragedy, and eldritch horror. These inspirations combine to create a compelling and deeply human story of a man striving to reclaim his mind and save his soul. Character development is one of the most rewarding aspects of role-playing, and Alton's Tealeaf journey is filled with the potential for growth, redemption, and dramatic storytelling. It's essential to collaborate with your dungeon master to explore Alton's arc. Perhaps he can weave a path of redemption into the story, giving Alton the chance to break free from Ghaunadaur's influence. Such a resolution wouldn't come easily. It might require extraordinary deeds, the intervention of a powerful being, or even risking the wrath of Ghaunadaur itself. Alton development lies in the contrast between who he was and who he might become. Once a man who values status and wealth above all else, his forced servitude has given him a new perspective. His journey could lead him to discover the importance of friendship, selflessness, and perhaps a family. Things he once overlooked in his pursuit for richness. His personal growth can create meaningful role-playing moments as Alton learns to trust and rely on others. This connection might even give him the strength to confront his patron one day. Alton is a fantastic fit for any campaign set in the Forgotten Realms, but he truly shines in adventures based in Waterdeep. Campaigns like Waterdeep Dragon Heist and Dungeon of the Mad Mage are particularly compelling. Both are set in the city where Alton's reputation as a jeweler once thrived, creating opportunities to tie his background into the fabric of the campaign. Whether he is seeking redemption, unraveling the mysteries of his past, or battling an influence of an ancient evil, Alton's story has the potential to captivate and inspire both the player and the party. Thanks for watching Epic Origins. Don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever played a character with a tragic past or a mysterious patron? Let us know. Until then, happy adventuring.